Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of No Tea, Just Coffee. I am Jordan and this is
Tam.
welcome back. We are
Welcome
so
back.
excited. So today we're going to be talking about career pathways or pathway or pivot. As a little kid, we had different things that we wanted to do: firefighter, police officer, whatever the case
I
may
didn't want to be
be.
no firefighter or a police officer. But I understand what you're saying.
Teacher,
Didn't want to be no teacher. But they get it.
ballerina,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. What did you think you were going to do, and how has social media influenced you differently? How has your family or friends influenced you differently? Did you think you were going to be where you thought you were going to be?
I don't even think it's so much social media. I think it's just the perception, or not even the perception, like growing up, we were told to go to college, get a degree, and if once you get a degree, you get this great job and da 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 da. Yeah, that wasn't the case for me.
Okay, hold on before you get into it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting into the meat and potatoes. Tam jumped ahead.
Welcome
So
to the meat and potatoes.
So we get into the first part of it. And then, as we always do, we're going to shoot the shit about something. I don't remember what our shoot the shit is.
I was going to say, what is the shoot the shit?
Well, we're going to figure it out before we get off of here. Okay. So, Tam, go into what you were saying about for me, and then what was your for me about?
What?
You said for me, and then I cut you off. So, back to for me.
I don't know what I was going to say for me, but just going back into, and I think it's more so like our generation, and just our parents, and like just the way that they thought, right? It was, you go to school, right? You go to college, you get this degree, and then you get this great job, and your life is set, and etc. And for me, it was like a realization of like that wasn't necessarily true. And it's no fault to anyone.
Yeah.
It's just, that's just what you're thinking you're supposed to do,
So when did you have that realization?
After I graduated, because from college.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I grew up around modeling. My mom, she was heavy into the modeling industry. And so from basically the age of 5 up until I was around that. I did dance. That was a hobby. But my first love, my first passion was to be a model.
Okay.
And I remember asking if I could be a model, and she told me no. And I was like,
this is what you do.
But this is what you do, right? And and plus, like, that's what I was around. Now, granted, I appreciate it now. At the moment, my heart crushed. I mean,
did she ever say why she didn't want you to be a model?
She did not, but looking back,
we gonna have to call her up.
Right? Hey, Ma, can you tell me? No, honestly, to be honest, like, she never said, but looking back, knowing what I know now, it's a hard industry.
Yeah.
And especially the time that we grew up in.
Definitely.
I'm just going to put it out there. Dark-skinned girls was not really.
Black women, period.
Yes, right.
We're not in the modeling industry. It was like 2.
Yes, it wasn't really it, know? So I'm going to assume like that's the reason why. And looking back, I don't fault her. I actually appreciate, like, as kids, it's like, your parents know best, but in the moment, like, you don't know, heartbroken. But I get it.
Yes.
But anyways, to say all that, I had dreams of being a model. Dance was never a career path for me. But my mom, she also said, you're not going to major in dance. Once again, thanks, Mom. I appreciate that, you know. And so eventually I figured out that I wanted to do event planning.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I wanted to do event planning.
Yeah.
And I found out later, like in my college career or whatever, So I switched paths in college, whatever, graduate with a degree, and I was back home. I was
back to where it all started.
Back to the crib. Okay, I was back at the crib, and yeah, it took a while for me to really figure out what it is. I guess not necessarily what I want to do, but maybe what was meant for me to do.
I'm still
right.
Like, how are you supposed to know that?
No,
there's literally nothing that happens. Not even in high school.
Yeah.
Do they help you discover who you are, unless you are in a magnet, like you were in a dance magnet.
Yeah.
Now humanities, I know what subjects, like I love history, and I love writing. I love all of that. But what is that going to translate into?
Yeah. So, what did you like? What did you want to?
I wanted to go talk about Dream Crusher. Terry Ogle, my dad, cut it out. Like, you're not. So he wanted all of his girls to be teachers.
Oh, really?
My dad was a teacher, a principal, an administrator.
That makes sense.
He has his PhD in education. Like, education is his end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to fashion school, and I wanted to.
What?
I wanted to go to the Art Institute, and I wanted to study fashion textiles and fashion merchandising, because I wanted to be able to put together, like, you know how you go into Macy's, Target, whatever, and you like, dang, they got the whole bedroom set up for me, or dang, they got the whole living room set up. That's what I wanted to do.
And I can see that, because of like your design, all that. That makes sense.
And my dad was like, that's not even a career. And I was like, yes, it is. And I planned, like, the lady who was doing my hair at the time, she told me about a fashion school in California called FITM. I don't know if it's around anymore, but I was going to go to California. Like, it was either going to be the Art Institute here in Indy, or it was going to be in California.
Wow.
And my dad was like, so how you going to pay for it? And I was like, he was like, what I'm paying for?
Wait, so what did you go to school for?
So I essentially went to school because a lot of time there is marketing involved in merchandising.
Yes.
A little bit. Marketing is not at all.
It ain't for me.
It's heavy economics, heavy analytics, heavy every number thing that you could think of.
Yeah.
And so I went to IUPUI, got into marketing, and the first 2 years I hated it.
Yeah.
So I went to my counselor and I said, I've taken all of these classes. What can I do? She said, well, I think you should go into SPIA. SPIA was a life changer for me.
I'm sorry, what?
School of Public and Environmental Affairs.
Oh.
And that's where I got my public affairs management degree. And that's where I found my passion, because it's, you're dealing with people, programs, policies, procedures. You're basically setting an organization up, nonprofit organization up for success. So that's really how I got into then taking my master's into public administration. So I really do enjoy nonprofit and program management. Like, that is truly what I want to do.
Interesting. I don't think I knew all of that.
Yeah. Because you don't really know it.
You don't.
And you don't really know it until you get into, I didn't know it. I just got to work for a foundation, 4 years ago?
Right. That's what I was going to say. Like, I'm lucky and blessed for the organization that I work for now, because they helped me figure out what it is that I want to do.
Kick ass at? Nobody, there's on
project management. Like,
Tam doesn't don't nobody do it like Tam. Let me just put that out there. Like, Tam's the hot commodity of project management. I said, this is it right here.
It was crazy how I got into it. Okay. But, I've always been good at just like organization and just like managing things and people. And I can multitask like crazy, And so, project management just kind of fell into my lap. But at my current job, Like we both started in a completely different department than what we're in now.
Yes.
And because of their opportunities of like allowing you to, move in within the organization, I finally found something that I wanted to do. But for the longest time, like after, I just remember, I ain't gonna say I wasn't depressed, but I was like, after I graduated from college, I just really was like, I don't know.
And I
Really,
think that's the norm.
I
for
know,
most.
but it's so like it can be depressing.
It
Well,
is.
I knew I wanted to do event planning,
But how do you get into
but
it?
how
Who
in
do
the
you go talk
world
to?
do you get into it?
And you still have to pay bills and you still got to eat or whatever the case may be, to whatever level that is, whether you do live with your parents,
Yep,
but they're not going to pay for
they're
everything.
not gonna pay for
Or you
everything.
got to get out there and live on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to make money.
Yeah.
So that for me too, it's like, that's how I discovered Sephora.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, I don't want to get into the restaurant industry.
Right.
I don't want to do this. So I'm like, well, maybe I can get into makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was there for a long time until
Right.
I figured myself out.
Yeah.
And then I am where I am now. But it takes a very long time.
Yeah, it can, and it's not everybody.
Yeah.
But it can, because for 7 to 8 years, I worked in IPS as an administrative assistant. Now, really, if you think about it, that kind of is close to what it is that I'm good at, right? Again, managing schedules and planning and organizing and etc. So that still fit into my, what it is that I'm good at. But I always said, the one thing I always said, I was like, this is just a job for me. I know this is not my career.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not my career. I knew that I wanted to do something in event planning, and then eventually that just kind of like faded away a little bit. And then, I mean, our job, really, they found us, to be honest. We right. I got a call like, hey, this company likes to interview you. Okay. And when I tell you, I think we both were in the same boat as this, had no idea what this organization was.
No.
But everything happens for a reason, because I was ready to get out of
100%.
What I was doing. And I had no clue what the job was. I had no clue what this organization was.
Never developed anything to the title. I'm like,
I just took it because I just wanted to get away from what I was doing.
Yep.
And here I am.
And I guess like I had reached like a glass ceiling, if you will. And it is hard to be in corporate America. Mm-hmm. It's hard to be a young woman of color in corporate America at times. And when I started out, not at this company, but the previous one, it was very hard to get promoted. I got looked over time over time over time. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's just not about how hard you work.
Yeah, that's true.
It's about who's hiring.
That's true.
And what they want it to look like.
Yeah.
I didn't fit their mold.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't. And it was heartbreaking because I was like, dang, because I wanted to get into program management at that job, change a different department. And it was heartbreaking. So I did, like you were saying, kind of get into a little bit of depression, because I'm like, this company really, they don't want me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not really looking at me to grow. And then, our current company came about, and I was like, thank God, because I was lost.
Yeah.
Truly lost. And then, just being young as well, my whole 20s, I was trying to find myself.
Lost.
I knew I had bills to pay, and that was pretty much
right. Okay.
And then I had my son, and I said, well, I got somebody to take care of.
Yeah.
But you don't really know what it is that you want to do.
So let me ask you, would you, I ain't gonna say would you change anything, but do you think do you think that you needed everything that you, like schooling wise, like, do you think that all of that was necessary to really accomplish what it is that you want to do?
I think that this is mine.
Uh-huh.
Cut out all those prereq classes.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I don't use algebra
Right.
7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. I don't use finite, which was a horrible class. I don't use none of that. When I got into
Girl, I took a class. It was called horticulture.
horticulture.
The study of plants. Why am I taking this class?
I didn't even know.
It was, first off, it was the hardest class I've ever taken.
Holy cow!
But I get it. Cut out the fat. Yeah.
What did I take? Okay, I took what's the study of rocks? Study of stones and rocks and things like that. Geology. Maybe. They were like, you gotta, you're trying to fill up the bucket of classes. So I took that class. I was like, this is the driest class, but I had no choice. I had to take it. This was my only option.
It's like, for why?
But not until I got into SPIA. And I honestly, and I think we talked about that, like I really do want to get back into, I do want to teach, but at the university level.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically in SPIA or some program like that that talks about leadership and ethics, program management, because that is really my passion, is trying to figure out how a program works, not only for the internal company but external stakeholders.
Yeah.
And I don't think people really understand the end user and also the company on how that you have to create that balance for the overall experience. I think that's, and then there's your policies, your procedure, like everything has to align. And it a lot of times has to do with ethics and leadership. Who's leading?
So going back to the question of, as far as your education, your main thing is like get rid of all the extra stuff and just give me
the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I think I even took poetry, just some old silly stuff, just to get into school. And I know school is a business.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, but yeah. So yes, I would say get rid of the classes that have nothing to do with your actual career.
Yeah.
And let the students get into something, because I think that's when the gears start to turn and your mind start to think about, oh my God. Because when I was in my leadership and ethics class, or that's when I was like, man, this is what I want to do. But how many years?
Right. I don't know if I can. So I majored in communications, and that fits me so well because, girl, I can talk. I love
communicate.
Communication is like my number one thing when it comes, and that's a whole nother thing. But that's what I majored in, and did I really take away? I don't know if I can say I did. Now that's just me, okay? What I will say, what I loved about going to college was I discovered myself.
Yes.
I discovered who I was. Yep. I was able to get away from, the home and be the person
meet different people.
Yes.
Which I think is important.
I do too.
And I'm hoping that I got my master's through online, because I was old.
Yeah.
I was old. Everybody going to university. Right. You want me to park and walk 6 miles? Ain't nobody doing that.
Put a book bag on.
I'm not doing that. But as a young person getting into school, I hope that people still try to experience campus life to some degree.
Yeah, I do too.
My master's program online, you don't see anybody. You kind of, you chat online, but you don't really get to meet people of all walks of life. And I think that was a great experience for me at IUPUI. And you have young and old people at IUPUI. You have people that are 60 going back to school, or you have a 19-year-old that just graduated from high school.
That is true.
So you see different life paths, and they kind of like mentor you a little bit.
Yeah.
The older individuals that were there. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, I guess I would say I feel like nowadays it's more, I almost feel like going to college isn't the priority. But then, okay, so most of the time when it comes to like getting a job in most organizations, That's what they look for if you have a college degree. I personally, at one point in time when I was working in IPS, public schools, I always worked under the principals. And I was working at a school where like I assisted my principal in kind of like weeding out individuals to interview. And those are things that we were looking at. Do they even have a college degree?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like nowadays it feels like that's not really the norm, or like this generation is like, I don't need college. And I get it.
I do too.
I get it. Now, it depends on what you're doing. If you're trying to be a doctor, take your butt to school, okay? If you're trying to, you know, be an engineer,
have a lawsuit on
take your butt to school. So it just depends on what it is that you're wanting to do. But I believe that the best learning is hands-on experience.
Street smarts.
Yeah, like having the actual hands-on experience. Because I could read a book all day.
Oh, absolutely.
But it doesn't make sense until I actually do it, you know?
One thing, my aunt and uncle, they very wealthy and had their own pool company. And then it was passed on to my cousin. But my aunt has always told me street smarts is going to take you further. They were entrepreneurs and very successful. And I think my aunt had an associate's in business, but street smarts is really what helped her develop her business and support her husband or my uncle in the business.
Yeah.
Because no book is going to tell you how to deal with people.
Or I kind of wish like they kind of restructured it for all areas of education.
Definitely.
To where like it doesn't matter what your major is.
Need to have.
Give the actual on hands experience, you know?
People skills.
Yeah.
This generation, this young generation, bless their hearts.
Bless them.
They don't have any people skills.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying all, but what I'm saying is these younger generations, they want to. There's a hard time with boundaries. There's a hard time with understanding how to communicate with different types of people. Also, when you get into corporate America, you need to understand you have to earn yourself a certain position. You don't come in demanding it. Yeah. And it's called respect.
Yeah.
And I think some of those old school ways in which I was taught are kind of like just fading out. But I think it just keeps some order in just life in general, and understanding that you just can't treat every single person in your life exactly the same. You got to learn how to shift, respect others, respect your elders.
Yeah. I do think well, yeah, that is key. But for me, it's literally like, okay, right now I'm a project manager. If I would have known I really wanted to get into project managing, like example of, okay, I'm going through these lessons, I'm doing these assignments, I'm doing all of this. Now give me like a real life situation where I have to apply it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
that's where I'm talking about. Most of the time, at least for me, most of the time that wasn't the case. Like I wrote papers all day. Okay, I can write a paper like it's nothing. You know?
And that's the thing too. It's like that goes back to my point about social media. I think the younger generations, and I'm not going to say just the younger, because my generation, your generation, some of us have fallen into that as well, because we see just a snapshot of someone's life as an entrepreneur, or as a this and as a that. Then they forget that person had also to do a lot of work and a lot of studying or whatever the case to get where they are. They didn't just wake up and said, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to have a couple of businesses, or I'm going to get into real estate. They may not show you the hard work, but no millionaire that I know, it came easy.
But the question is, did they go to school though? Like how we did. Like we were,
but
again, we grew up, you need to go to college. Once you get that degree, boom, you got a great job. I feel like now that's not necessarily the case.
Way.
Yeah, it's not the traditional way.
You do need to get your head wrapped around what you want to do and get your head in some book. Take some class, a master class or something, get a mentor.
So you do think that the traditional way of education is the way to go?
It depends on what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like you said, now my household, I have 2 degrees. My husband does not. But my husband
That laugh
makes a lot more than I. And I'm salty.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Right. Like I wasted all this time and money
and that's the truth.
on this
I'm
education.
like,
yeah.
Okay, because
Another thing we were told based off of like your level of education,
oh, absolutely,
you're supposed to be paid X, Y, and Z. I don't know
now
if
let me tell you something.
I don't think that's true
or fair.
or fair.
Because
that is
here
true.
I go. I done busted my butt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have my master's, but I done been with some company or whatever 10+ years. Somebody come in with their master's and they trump me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's gonna take them 7-8 years to even understand the organization and
because
make it successful.
You have the hands-on experience with that.
100%.
Yep.
I tell my son all the time, you have 2 examples of success.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose any pathway, and it may not look like your dad's or mine.
Right.
But you do have to have a path. Whatever that path is, you need to have a plan.
Yeah.
So, and I think that is also like the trucking industry has like taken off. People are owning their own trucking companies. I mean, because that's how we get our products.
Yeah.
Is, either railway, shipping, planes, but also semi trucks.
Yeah.
That is a huge industry, and that's what my husband does. But and it's recession proof. It's not going nowhere because we all need the goods, that are shipped from state to state or country to country. So, my son might want to go and drive big semi trucks like his dad, or he may not.
But you say he has to have a plan.
Got to have a plan. Like,
I don't know if I really had a plan besides I knew I needed to go to college. Like my mom, she wasn't having it no other way. Like, you're going to college. And I think that's really where it stopped for me. I don't think like even like counselors.
No.
I don't even think that they really guided me as far as like, you should probably do this, that, and the third to help you get to like, there was no guidance. There was no one to tell me, like, really. And I'm only speaking on behalf of me because my degree, it is so broad, but it shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter what you're studying. Like, there should still be some type of
mentor.
Yes.
That's one thing that they talk about, and at our current job is mentorship.
Yeah.
And if I think about it, I did have mentors like, I used to work for Jenny Craig, Lord. But
come on, Jenny Craig.
R.I.P. Bless their hearts. I had a mentor at what I say, Jenny Craig.
Yeah, Jenny Craig.
Wonderful lady. And so I think I've tried to find. My dad always has taught me like, it's kind of about who you know as well. So if you find somebody that you're kind of interested in their career, you find them experience, get to know them and pick their brain.
Yeah.
So every career I've had at least 1 or 2 women that have mentored me.
Yeah.
That has been more important than
the actual education of it.
The actual education of it, because probably not until my master's program did I really, really have the passion.
Yeah.
But my undergrad, nobody was, like you said, nobody was counseling me, mentoring me. Nobody was really helping me through that journey. You are literally, like they say, a number at the university. And then your counselor, and I stopped going after a while because, at that point, they're just helping you enroll in classes, but they're not really helping you find your path.
Yeah.
So I think whatever really you set out to be, it may be something totally different at the end of it or in the middle of it. Just be open to whatever. Don't let, that's one thing, like I think I let my dad, bless his heart, but he'll be almost 80. He comes from a generation where they work somewhere for 30, 40 years, retire from that, and that's it. They stay at one place. For our generation and the younger ones, it's basically do what you want and what's in your heart to do, but do have a plan and have people around you that, just for example, this podcast. If I was in my dad's generation, I don't even know what a podcast is. You want to do what? No, you're not doing that. But this generation, I feel like we kind of surround each other and we kind of like bounce off and we collaborate.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't have done it if I was in the older generation, but I think the younger generations after my dad, we've kind of started to progress and trying new things.
You know, I ain't gonna lie. I would not have dared been like, I'm not going to school. What? My mom would have knocked me out.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice either.
like, you know, like our generation, like, what?
You didn't have a choice.
Even, yeah, you didn't. You didn't have a
No.
choice. But I was scared of my mom. What?
Mhm.
Still to this day, and I'm a grown adult. Like, we
Yeah.
were just raised to just not
Talk back,
go against or whatever. Now, I'm not saying I didn't want to go to college, but
how about you didn't know any different?
Well, and that's
I
another
didn't know any
thing.
different.
I didn't know any different. That's all I
Now,
knew, and that's what was instilled in me.
I will say my friends at the time, still some of them are close friends to me, but one of them went to cosmetology school, and then I think another one started getting into nails, and that was just
foreign. Like, yeah, you're
and
not
I
going to
was
college.
like,
Yeah,
wait, I was literally the only one. I think one of my other friends may have went to Kentucky at the time to school, but to do hair, to do this, to that, I'm thinking, nah, this ain't gonna work. But it has.
Yeah.
And my friend Jess, she's the one who went to cosmetology school, and then now she's in real estate. But essentially she wanted to do healthcare. So my point is, you can do whatever the heck you want to do.
Yeah.
Just have a plan and support
and passion for it.
And passion for it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. If you lose the passion for it, find something else to do.
Yeah.
Don't stick in something that's going to, especially if you're still young, don't stick with it. Find something else to do, because there's so much more out here.
Yeah.
You know, being at a job that you don't feel that you can grow or that's your passion, that is depressing.
Yeah, it is.
So
it is.
I say just go for it if you have the support.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree with that.
But I do think, going back to social media, it's like kind of looking through, here go my analogy.
Go ahead.
It's kind of like you walking through the neighborhood and you look through somebody's window. You literally only get a little portion of it. And the house could look really fancy on the inside. And they could really just only have furniture in their living room. They ain't got no furniture upstairs. They broke as heck, but their living room is good to go. Or you could look through the window and the whole house is laid out. They're successful. You don't know. It's only what they want you to see in that window or what you see in that small view. That's how social media is.
Okay, got it. I was like, where are you going?
You see this little post of a snapshot of their lives. So if that's something that you want to do, really research it, and before you say that's what you want to do. Like,
but this is more so about what is the right way to get to that, because of how, compared to how we grew up and what was instilled in us. You know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's so many ways. Like nowadays, like these influencers, Lord.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you don't have to go to college for that. Like, but if you're like in other areas, maybe you do. You know?
Yeah.
It's
just do some research.
Yeah.
Because my son, 9, he don't know much about life. YouTube is extremely heavy in his generation.
Yes, it
of
is.
Influence. And to me, if my son is telling me he want to be a YouTuber, I'm telling you no.
But why? Because you just said, wait.
I'm telling you no.
Wait. No. Wait a minute. Because you just said there's different ways to be successful. And there are some very successful YouTubers. Like, making money. So
there
are. Which way?
He gonna have to come with a
plan.
The meat and potatoes of that. He gonna have to tell me, because
okay, so we still so she still got a little bit of her old school parenting in her.
Like I said, my dad,
because she just said her son.
I know. Yeah, you're right.
And I was
You're
like, no,
absolutely
you
right.
can't be.
Because my dad was like, fashion is not a career.
Right.
I was like, how do you think the stores that you go to from A to Z, from the grocery store, the shoe store, from
Yeah.
everywhere you enter, it's a vibe.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
And
Who do you think?
and
Who
your
do you
son
think
can say
does
the
that?
same thing about YouTubing.
He can. We're gonna see about it though. Because what I'm not gonna
still a
do
no.
is have you in your bedroom for 7 hours. Hey guys, this is you're not gonna be playing video games all day.
I ain't gonna lie, there's some interesting YouTubers though.
I agree.
Yeah.
And essentially, we're gonna be on YouTube. Now
I
we're
mean,
not
well,
YouTubers,
right?
but YouTube is an excellent platform for a lot of good.
Yes.
But it can also be for a lot of bad. Like
Yeah.
I've seen some things I'm like, now what in the world?
Yep.
So it's that balance. I just don't want my son to get sucked into
the social norms.
Social norm. I want him to go outside and meet people. I want you to have people experiences outside of your house because, and this is just my opinion, I think having interactions with people is very valuable and has been very valuable for me.
Yep.
And it really has taught me how to handle different people, how to have different relationships, how to speak to different people, how to address certain things. It's just social media and YouTube cannot get you there. So if he wanted to be a YouTuber, I would support him, but I would also tell him go to some conferences or go to some summits with other YouTubers. Like meet each other in person. You know, try to get out in the world and learn some things and see the world. You know? So again, we'll talk about it.
Child.
So yeah.
Okay.
But I guess we really didn't. I'm trying to think. What did I even want to be when I was young? I honestly don't know.
I wanted to be a model, and then after that, I didn't realize. I didn't figure out. I didn't get to event plan the idea of event planning until I was in college. Up in my first few years, I was trying out all kinds of majors. I was a math teacher. Heck no, don't want to be nobody's teacher. Yeah. I even tried engineering. Wait, no, I don't want to be nobody's engineer. Let me tell you how I figured out event planning. One thing I like to do, I like to party, y'all. Okay, I like to party. I was
party
at every
or event planning. Those are two different things.
I'm going to tell you how I get to. Okay. I'm going to tell you how I got there. I was at every party every weekend. Okay, that is me. That was me. And then I was like, I knew I was good at just organizing. Like, I like to be where the people are. I like to be, at parties. I love sports events, right? And so I literally put all that together, and I was like, an event planner.
That's
like an event planner, because you're around everybody, and it can, that's where all the action is.
And that is true because.
Yeah, that's
growing up, event planning wasn't even an option that was spoken about. Not in my household. It was education. You're gonna teach. That was pretty much it. My dad wanted everybody to be a teacher. But then as I started to get around different people in college, I used to date a guy that wanted to get into hotel management. Didn't even know.
Yeah.
But who you think running the hotel?
Yeah.
You start to think, oh my God, there is a degree for hotel management, and then there is a degree for whatever. I mean, anything and everything, sports management.
Yeah.
All these different things that I didn't even think existed. And that I think is again to my point of I don't think you have to go to a university, but I think discovering what you want to do, people play an important role in the people you meet and the experiences you have. And I don't know if you're gonna get that from YouTubing.
Yeah, my event planning, I mean, that was never talked about.
Yeah.
The main thing, my mom is phenomenal at math. She's always been. And
she's still a tutor?
She still tutors. She's a
Yeah.
teacher. But she's just really, really good in math. And so growing up, I too, I was pretty good in math,
Yeah.
to the point I felt like I kind of had no choice, because my mom was so good.
Yeah.
And I think she also knew I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I was kind of going off of suggestions that she was giving me. Why don't you go into math teacher? And I want to do that. Engineering, that deals with, and it's like, that is just not me. It was like, everything math, math, math.
So I think, just to sum it up before we go to our next portion, is
everyone's path is different.
Literally everyone. And you take a little bit from this person, a little bit from that person, you kind of come up with your own. And I will say the younger generations, I think they have that benefit of doing that.
Yes.
Where we didn't, because our parents are older.
So y'all got a little lucky,
Yeah, got lucky.
Yeah.
So, and social media, although, there is a positive to that, because you can see other careers and what does it look like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just say whatever your passion is, do a little bit of research, do a little chit chatting with people that are in that career. And
yeah, I like what you said also with like the mentoring. Mentoring is so key.
Oh my God.
To be able to shadow someone, to really see like, is this what I really want to do?
Yep.
Is it, do I actually need to go to college to really, get the lessons or whatever to, to be able to do this certain position or career. But the mentoring aspect,
it's key.
Yeah, that
and
was
it's
good.
Ongoing. And it's in different.
Yes, it's definitely ongoing. Always ongoing. Even when you're like in your career,
it's ongoing.
Yeah, it's always gonna be something. So yeah.
So yeah. Leading into our next shoot the shit. So we done got kind of heavy with this pathway and career combo, but now we really just gonna talk about something very light and airy, and it's gonna be pet peeves. Things that make you want to like just knock a hole in the wall, like gets under my skin.
Go ahead, you can start it off.
So if I had, I got a little list.
Okay.
But if I had to choose, a pet peeve of mine is, where do I begin? Is if you call me and I call you back 2 seconds later, why you not answering the phone?
Okay, now Jordan.
No.
That cannot be a pet peeve of yours.
That's one of them. No.
She is the queen of this.
Yes, not 2 seconds.
Call her. No. That cannot, Jordan.
That's one of them.
That's not even fair. Let's just talk about today alone. We were playing phone tag. Okay.
Yeah.
We were playing phone tag. But okay, maybe not today isn't a good example. But Jordan is not. No. I'm about to say it. I have literally, okay, this situation has happened because she doesn't, and it's not, I'm not saying like she's supposed to keep her phone on her, but she don't be having her phone around.
But I said 2 seconds. It's like somebody calls me, I return the call right away. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next one. Okay, let me hit you with this one.
Okay.
Next one is, do not cut me off while I'm trying to explain the story. And my husband does this all the time. It's like, as I'm telling the story, you're trying to finish it, but guess what? You were not there. So won't you let me finish? She was like, so did they?
Oh, nope. Okay.
No, they didn't. Okay. So then I'm like, and then he was like, but did it?
I know another pet
Hold on. Let me finish this story.
I know another pet peeve of hers.
What?
Which I can agree. It's a pet peeve of mine, but boy, it turns her gears.
Grinds.
Whatever.
Grinds your gears.
If she just got She just got done saying something, and then I turn around and I literally say the same thing. Oh man.
My older sister,
She did it a couple weeks ago.
She has been doing that my whole entire life. And because she's older, it's probably because it's been a thing my whole life. She's always been the more outspoken one. Maybe not so much now, but when we were younger, she was more outspoken, so everybody would listen to her. So I would say something, and my sister would be like, "Yeah, so why don't we da da da?" And I would be like, "I just said that," but I will say something, and literally 2 seconds later, she'll say the same thing. That bothers me. I also can't stand that in a work setting because then you take credit.
Yes.
And that really gets under my skin. Like, that person just said that, and now we're listening to this person. Like, give the other person credit too. They didn't come up with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have a couple. Mine, okay, so this is like social media wise. Okay. Pet peeve of mine, okay? If you have my direct phone number, okay? Like, if you have my number, not everybody has my number.
That's right.
But if you have my number, why are you texting me via DM?
Oh, I hate
or that. DM Instagram or DM Facebook or whatever? Like, you have my number.
Yeah.
So why text me? Because this is the thing. I'm not just sitting on my phone like, okay, somebody's about to send me a. Like,
I'm not doing that. Days later.
I have a story. Have a story, okay? A friend of mine sent me a message on Facebook. I don't even have the Facebook Messenger app, okay? Sends me a message on Facebook, has my phone number. I don't see it, okay? And also keep in mind, you can see if it's been read, right? You can see if someone's opened it or read it.
Okay.
Sends me a message. I don't see it. Some days pass. Sends me another message talking about, oh, so you're just going to ignore me, huh? I eventually see it, and I was like, what? Man,
now I'm mad. Now I'm not responding to either one of them.
I got him straight. I said, don't you have my number? You think I'm just sitting here waiting for people? I hate that. Like, if you have my number, just reach out to me.
Also, if I've called you today or texted you today,
please respond back today. Today.
And I love the people in my life. But if you text me, hey, good morning, what you got planned for the weekend? And I respond, why do you never respond back?
Did
you really want to know what was going on? Like, I know people are busy, but let me tell you something. I know a lot of busy people, and I'm busy as well. If you don't want to initiate the conversation, just don't send it.
That is a huge,
what you got planned for the weekend, or hey, good morning, and then you start a conversation, and then nothing else. I respond, and then there's nothing else.
And that probably for me goes back to just I'm big on communicating. Like, I don't expect you to like respond right away, but if I text or call you, I do expect some type of response within the same day. And I'll even give you one better. Even if it's like something where like you couldn't get back to me that day.
Yeah.
At least the next day. And at the beginning, not a whole 24, 48, 72.
And don't let me see
you that you done posted. Don't do that.
Now you're on Instagram.
Don't do that.
I know that you done looked at your phone. But you was that busy, but you also posted on. There is something about
that just got me heated.
The lack of,
oh my gosh, that is annoying. And now you know what I've started to do? I started to match people's energy.
I know that's right.
So
no, that's the truth.
So you when I text you, you can't get back to me. But so when you text, please trust and believe. I'm gonna be like, my day's passed.
And I'm gonna wait.
That's been 48 hours. Okay.
I don't even see it.
Oh, my bad. No, you also know that I saw your text message. Like, hold on. Or missed call. Come on. I hate that. That's a pet peeve. Yeah.
I got one more.
That was a good one.
And we're gonna let y'all go.
Yeah.
We can go on for days.
Days.
Another pet peeve is just the fact that you're busy. Now, we've talked about this because Tam is busy, but there are levels of busy. And then there are also times when you're not working.
Yeah.
And there are also times when you can be considerate as human beings.
Yes.
That have family, friends, relationships, the list goes on. You have to be considerate of the time that you spend and the effort you give to others.
Yeah.
So when you say matching energy, I have most certainly started doing that recently because you can't be that busy sun up to sundown, Monday through Sunday.
Yeah.
You're never not busy.
Yeah.
So I feel like
ultimately you make time for what it is you want to do,
absolutely.
who it is you want to talk to, what it is that you can and cannot do. Like you make time, and I am the queen of busy. I have I'm always doing stuff. Always. And also I'm the type of person like what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you how much more busier I am than you, because your busy may be different than my busy.
It's levels.
Everybody's busy.
Absolutely.
But yes, don't use that.
And just because our career and our lives or whatever may look differently. Yeah. And I think some people, there's no competition.
There's none.
It's just be considerate of the people that, because I find it a privilege of mine to have you as a friend.
Yeah.
And I expect you to think the same, because time is time.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And don't forget it. Because now you could lose a friend because you didn't spend that time, and now they're going to be friends with somebody else and you're going to be salty.
Hello.
Or they're going to go out to lunch with somebody else and you're going to be salty.
Hello.
So be considerate.
Be considerate. That's the key.
Ooh.
Just be considerate. Okay? And don't be mad when I start matching your energy, okay? Because that is what I've started to do.
I ain't talked to you in a while.
Well.
You damn skippy. You ain't talked to me in a while. Because I done moved on. Shoot.
Oh, man.
So, all right.
Those are good pet peeves.
Those were good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm excited. This was episode 2. And I hope you guys will continue to come back and enjoy these conversations. So until next time.
Comment, subscribe, and click the button. Whatever it is the people be saying. Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What she said. So again, I'm Jordan. This is
Tam.
And this is No Tea,
Just Coffee.
Peace out.